Longtime civil rights activist, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, has died at the age of 84. Jesse Jackson's family has released a statement saying the following: "It's with profound sadness that we announce the passing of civil rights leader and founder of the Rainbow Push Coalition, the Honourable Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr. He died peacefully on Tuesday morning, surrounded by his family. His unwavering commitment to justice, equality and human rights helped shape a global movement for freedom and dignity. A tireless change agent, he elevated the voices of the voiceless from his presidential campaigns in the 1980s to mobilising millions to register for votes, leaving an indelible mark on history." Let's bring in Lord Woolley. Lord Woolley, good to have you with us. I just kind of want to pick up on some of those comments that were made in that family's kind of statement there about the legacy that has been left behind. Jesse Jackson's is a name that so many will be aware of, and so many also of that legacy too.
No, an indelible legacy. For me, a personal trauma of losing a friend, a mentor, and as you have said, a true icon. Actually, for millions of people. You know, when you consider when he first ran the presidential race back in 1984, he should have won in 84. He should have won in 88. He was so inspirational. He was so clear-minded about what the nation needed. But even though he knew that he probably wouldn't win, being in the race was the greatest success, because without him, we wouldn't have had a Barack Obama. And I think that message that has stuck with me, and it will stuck with millions of people, about keeping hope alive. Actually, we need those sentiments now more than ever. In Jackson's tone, keep hope alive. I feel blessed that I had such a friend, such a mentor in my life. When me and many others started Operation Black Vote, he came to the UK. He helped me register to vote. Literally tens of thousands of people. We would go around in a bus up and down the country, and he was fairly elderly then, but his energy was irrepressible. He would get out the bus, people would crowd around him. He would talk about keep hope alive, register to vote, follow this man, Simon Woolley, follow that man, Lee Jasper. And we literally, Gareth, transformed Westminster, transformed our politics. Because when we started in 1996, there were 4 Black, Asian, minority ethnic MPs. With the help of my brother, this man, we now have over 70. We've had a brown prime minister, we have Black leaders. People feel that this institution belongs to him. It's because of the man on your screen. That man helped transform so many countries around the world. To have that persona, Gareth, that Black is beautiful. I'm a man. I demand to be respected. I demand to have the dignity that every man deserves. And so today is a heartbreaking loss, I must say. But it's also a reminder, Gareth, of what one man can do, what we can do. And that message right now, when so many people feel despair and hopelessness, is a reminder what can be done.
Jesse Jackson was alongside Martin Luther King in 1965 in Selma. He was there in 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee, when Martin Luther King was assassinated. He was there, like you say, in 83 and 88, running for the ticket for the Democrats to become the president, coming 3rd and 2nd, respectively. For you personally, what was it like the first time you shook his hand, the first time you looked him in the eye, considering that body of work, that activism, that tenacity, that drive, that determination, that vision to do what he did? What was it like to see that vision firsthand?
Well, of course, when I first met him, and of course, as a young man, we only see him on TV, pointing the finger where the shot came across that killed his mentor. Martin Luther King. This was the man who I saw with the big afro hair, the good-looking black man that says, that keep hope alive. Yes, we can. That was one of the greatest orators of his generation. And I'm in front of him. And he said to me, Simon, listen, as I have done and learned. You can't be like me. You can only be you. But cherry pick, take what you can from being with me. And so whether it was in the Washington, D.C., or Chicago, or Birmingham, or Manchester, or London, I used to just sit there and watch, listen, and learn. And I said to him in December, in no small measure, the man you hear, we were talking on the phone, the man that you now hear, Brother Jackson, is in no small measure the man that you have helped build. And I promise you this, sir, I said to him, I pledge this to you, that I will endeavor to continue your legacy, how you bring people together, how you inspire a nation to believe that they can be better than they ever thought they could. He gave that to me. Actually, he gave it to millions of people, but I was one of the lucky ones to be mentored by him for 30 years. Of course, I got really lucky because I invited him to become a fellow of my college here in Cambridge University. It was his last visit to the UK. I have a booklet right in front of me, Gareth, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Homerton College, 14th of December, 2021. And I don't know whether you can see the pictures there, me greeting him at the college. A prouder moment I cannot tell you. And that's why today is both a most difficult day, but also a joyous day to have had this man as my friend.
And that visit in 2021 must have been particularly profound, considering that was the year that he had been hospitalised in COVID, 4 years after being diagnosed with Parkinson's, that robbed him of some of his mobility. And when you spoke to him in December, and you talked to him about the fact that you promised and pledged to continue his legacy, and you talked there so eloquently about the fact that he inspired not you, but millions of others, to what sense did you get that he recognised how he was an inspirational leader? To what sense did you ever get that he felt proud of his work, that he felt proud that people were taking on that torch?
I don't know. But I know that he was aware that his life was of giving, of public service, and that that if he could touch someone, if he could inspire a man or a woman, black or white, to want to be a change maker, that I think he felt that his life was worth lived. I know in December, his family thought they were going to lose him. He'd been rushed to hospital and he'd been given the last rites, and we were all preparing for the worst. And then somehow he summoned something that perhaps only Jesse Jackson could. And his sister said, he's not ready to go. He's not ready to go just yet. And although he had difficulty speaking, his mind was razor sharp. And he would either blink or make a noise that he understood. And so to have those moments, thanks to his daughter, Jacqueline, who allowed us to speak for 20 minutes or so, I think I was able to say my goodbye and what he had done for me as a man, and I'm sure many millions of people that will see the news today will reflect on what this man on your screen has done for them and for millions of people.
Lord Woolley, I appreciate that times like these are particularly painful and sensitive, and I appreciate you sharing your relationship and your experiences of Jesse Jackson so closely with us, and thank you for doing so. And you know, we talk about the legacy, the body of work. For those who, and there will be so many that know him intimately and have followed his life and activism and career and politics, but there'll be those that maybe know of the name Jesse Jackson in a slightly more looser sense.
Yes.
Just talk, if you will, and if you can, about some of that work through the 60s and 80s of the Rainbow Coalition, of the Push Coalition as well, about kind of where the man came from and kind of where this all began, because this is decades worth of difference that he made.
It is.
His beginnings. Just talk to us about those, if you will.
You know, he burst onto the scene as a youth activist, and the greatest civil rights icon, Martin Luther King, spotted his talent. He was an athlete. He was a football player, American football player, but he had this sense of I have a higher calling in life, and so he was brought into the A team of Dr. Martin Luther King, and was mentored and seen as a great activist. Of course, he was there when he was assassinated, but he continued Dr. King's dream, if you like. And the man was so charismatic, fast talking, caring, evidence driven. It was just you couldn't quite believe that this man was right in front of you and speaking the way he does, so fast, so eloquent, so powerful, that you kept thinking to yourself, when I grow up, I want to be like him. But he would say to me, Simon, you don't want to be like me. I'm flawed. You want to just be you, he would say to me. And I think beyond the eloquence and the aura, there was great humility, that he's only a man, flawed like all of us, but with something actually unique, that in which he would spend his whole life in service for justice, equality, dignity, for the human spirit. You have to remember, you know, when he brought back the hostages from, I think it was Iran, that were held there. There was one man who was able to go into in that respect, the lion's den, and speak to what was the enemy and say, look, you're better than this, we're better than this. And he brought those hostages home. Great presence, the biggest heart, and I'm honored to have said to be his friend.
I'm just reflecting on a quote from Reverend Al Sharpton back in 2017, who said, as I watched him, I thought about the greatness of this man, how he continued Martin Luther King's movement for justice, how he cemented it in the North and made it the King movement truly national. He changed the nation, served in ways he never got credit. No one in our lifetime served longer and stronger. We pray for him because he's given his life for us. And that was the Reverend Al Sharpton reflecting on Jesse Jackson's impact on politics and the wider rights movement back in 2017. And I'm interested in that line, he served in ways he never got credit. What insight into that did you have personally?
Well, I do feel that after that debacle with Barack Obama, that he felt that he never got the true credit that he deserved for the Obama election. I mean, I'm sure the family won't want to delve into that, not right now. But I think Reverend Sharpton, another mentor and friend of mine, is right that he never got the true credit and how he literally transformed America. Of course, the crescendo was the election of Barack Obama, but you couldn't have had Obama without Jackson fighting in 83, 84, and 88, and then lifelong. So it is a recognition today of his legacy, and there'll be millions of people like me who will have been touched by him, who will for sure continue that legacy. And I hope, and I'm sure he's looking down, saying, Brother Woolley and Black nations across the world, white allies across the world, right now, you must know that we're better than this. We're better than the division that has been thrust upon us. Now is the time to dig deep, he would be saying, to mobilize, to show a future in which we can all be proud of. That's what he would be saying. That's what he is saying to us right now as he looks down from his place in heaven, which he has truly deserved.
Friend, mentee of Jesse Jackson, Lord Simon Woolley, I really appreciate you sharing your time and your thoughts with us. Thank you so much.